Everyone and welcome. I'm here to talk to you about B.O.b, bonds over bullshit, aka trauma bonding. Be careful of these people that they want to come in, they want to bond with you over negativity. They're if you dislike a person or you have a disagreement with a person and y'all are just not on good terms for the moment, or traumatic things that have happened in life, or things that you really just don't fuck with. That's bonds over bullshit. And that's the little. I do that with a little b, B.O.b, bonds over bullshit. When you get the B.O.b, the big B, right? That's bonds over building, bonds over business. Those are the kind of bonds you need to be concerning yourself with, because it's bonds over bullshit will have you in a stuck energy, a negative energy, a backwards moving energy instead of a forward moving energy. Now, I understand everybody goes through everything, and so these things need to be talked about so you don't go crazy, or you don't self-destruct. And it's good for other people. It's very therapeutic to talk about your the events, the negative and the positive events of your life. Sorry, it's lip gloss. But there are certain people that's the only way they know how to form bonds with people, is their dislike of certain people, places, and things, or disdain. I'll say disdain. It's not even a dislike, because some people have such a disdain, which is pretty close to hatred. Not quite, but they're stuck because, like, I don't like this person, place, I don't like this entity, but I'm going to keep coming back to it, and I'm going to keep telling people about it and talking to people about it. And then eventually they talk about it so much that the person goes and checks it out, say it's not all that bad, and sees it's actually that person who, keeps bringing that entity up, or, person, place, or thing. I'm just going to use entity and place, a person, a place, a thing for time saving and, save my breath. So you got to be careful of these people. It's like they'll be waiting in the shadows over somebody that, they just flat out, they can't stand them, right? And they're sitting there lurking in the shadows, watching who they interact with, stalking the hell out of them, and waiting for, something that looks even slightly off to happen between the people. Even if it's something as small as, maybe that person didn't say hi that day. So they also approach people based on their own insecurities and how, with their interactions with other people, because they are the type of people who care if you say hi, instead of just appreciating a person's presence. They're like, oh, that person didn't even say hi to me, fuck that person. Real toxic type shit, versus, I'm here if you need me, we're still on good terms, whether you say hi or don't, whether you acknowledge me or not, I still got you, we're family. People will say it's toxic not to say hi, but that's just a matter of preference. Honestly, if we're there for all the same reasons, we know why we're there. There's certain environments where you get together, why you're there, and y'all got each other, and all that acknowledges and what do they call that? Courtesies. They call it common decency, but common decency is, I cannot say hi to you and still be a good person. I cannot, do the formalities of everyday society. The society has programmed it to us to, not have to prove to you that I'm a good person. I don't have to do all that. Like, you either know my energy or you'll know my actions, my character. With some people, they'll separate that, they separate people from that thought process by bonding over bullshit, the little b, versus bonds over building, which is the big B. And so little b, big bank take little bank, because big bank is always progressing, right? It's progressed longer than little bank. They came in after the fact on the higher vibration. So, like, some people like to connect over childhood traumas, or, like I said, over people, places, and things, entities that they just, flat out don't like. If you don't like something, you don't keep watching it. You move the fuck on. You move on with your life. You go on about your business, big B, right? Instead of sitting around and gossiping and doing other bullshit. Little b keeps you, that's the lower vibration. So, why would you sit around and watch and talk about, you don't watch TV shows that you don't like, you turn it off. Or you keep channel surfing or whatever, even if it's the only thing that's on, you're not going to sit there and watch it because you don't like it. You know, you've already, you know, observed or did your due diligence to find out that you just don't like it. It's not your thing. You know, whether you gave it a chance or not, it's your journey. It's up to you to find out. But it's best that, you know, you give things a chance so that you know why you don't, you know, not only that you don't like it, but why you don't like it. Some people don't like another person or another entity or a entity in general just because somebody else that they talk to doesn't like it without even getting to know that entity. And it's a sad thing, and that's what keeps us divided. Be careful of people who are always around for division but never for unity. Like when everybody's getting along, these people are nowhere to be found. You know, when things are being built, you know, you can't you can't pay them enough money to build, or maybe you can, but they're not, you know, what they're building will be the thing that falls apart. Just watch, you know, anything they put their hands on, it turns to crust. So these are people with destructive energies. So like I said, they don't have the Midas touch. You know, they have the destruction, the touch of destruction, the touch of Thanos. You know, they think they could just snap their fingers and things, you know, appear, and they could create their own reality. When the reality is, you know, God doesn't operate in chaos, and God does not operate in these people's lives, you know, while they're doing this anyway. When they're in this vibration, when you're in bonds over business and building, then, you know, you'll see God operating, you know, like fully functional, you know. And if you're rowing a boat, you know, you got to look back and make sure that everybody in the boat is rowing and nobody's drilling holes. All it takes is that one person to be sitting there drilling holes in the boat, trying to form bonds over bullshit, and it'll sink the whole thing. Like even the Titanic, you know, if one little hole drilled in the wrong place, you know, or in the wrong place, whatever you want to place it, you know, in the exact place, you know, calculated enough, then that ship would have sunk, and it wouldn't have had to hit that iceberg. It would have just sunk because there was a motherfucker in there drilling a hole and calculating, trying to figure out how to take the shit apart, trying to figure out how to sink your ship because they can't float their own. So be careful of these people, and be careful who you're talking to, who you're talking to, who you're talking about to them, and be careful of what you tell them about yourself. Because, you know, even interactions with other people, they could try to make it bigger than what it really was. It's just like, okay, we're just not talking right now, to, oh man, this person just hates your guts. You know, this motherfucker, you know, they're plotting against you and stuff like that. Try to plant, you know, seeds of despair and destruction, seeds, poverty, you know, a poverty mindset. Like, not everybody's out to get you, bro. Like, and they'll be sitting there, you know, growing weeds where you're trying to plant seeds, basically, because they themselves are a weed. So they set their roots in places where you're trying to grow, you're trying to bear fruits, they're setting their roots, which are weeds of destruction. Some weeds are useful, you know, they keep out certain other entities, but most of them, they mean no good. They do nothing but destroy and stop other more prosperous things from growing, more fruitful things from growing. So be careful of people who bond over bullshit, because that is something that is extremely destructive, and it has no place anywhere near what you are trying to grow, any seed. And if you are a business mindset, a builder's mindset versus a bullshit mindset, you know, you're gonna want to, you know, spray some pesticides, you know, sprinkle some, you might want to sprinkle your own agents in there and see who's in there trying to cause division, because you need people like that, you know. Like, they want to snitch on other people and what they're doing on a negative scale, and you want to snitch on people who are doing things to cause negativity and division in your community, in your household, so on and so forth. You know, like, there's a difference between, oh, I just don't deal with this person, versus I'm actively trying to split you apart or actively trying to divide you. Like, if you want division so bad, just separate yourself from whoever you do not like, period. How do I put this? You can coexist with people and not like them. You know, I don't know if anybody knew that was a real thing, but yes, you can work with people, coexist with people, and not like them and not agree. disagreeing doesn't make you an enemy. So be careful with people with that mindset, because that's a bullshit mindset. People disagree all the time and they don't become enemies. I mean, what do you think marriage is? Full of disagreements, but are they getting divorced just based off of agreements? It depends on what the disagreement is. If it's a disagreement that could potentially cause division, I get it. But if it didn't need to, and it was like really nothing that should cause division, like say, you couldn't agree whether you wanted tacos or burritos. I mean, that shouldn't cause division, for the catering. The catering should still go on. You could go half and half, or you could, it's not going to change anything, because the guests show up for the service, I hope, or what is being taught or provided, whatever is being provided there, apart from the food. This is why they're showing up. Some people, they do come for the free food, and sometimes those are the bullshit minded people, and sometimes they're the business minded people. You have to learn to discern for yourself on that. Because I know I've been to places for free food and they really didn't give a fuck about what was going on, but also I wasn't there trying to cause division. I just met who I met, and I moved on with my day. Some people we clicked and some people we didn't, and some numbers I walked away with, and some numbers never seen or heard from the person again, and some people I still hear from to this day. It all depends. So they put their agents in your their weeds in your garden and your where you're growing seeds, and you need to put somebody to weed those motherfuckers out. You need pesticides within your community, within your groups, your social circles, and whatnot. So with that, I leave you. Be careful of bonds over bullshit, and embrace the bonds over building and business. Even if the person doesn't know how to build or do business, it's better to have somebody who wants to bond over bullshit, because the person who really and truly wants to build, they're going to, even if they don't know how, they're going to want to at least learn from somebody. They'll take advice. They're open to criticism and things like that. But bonds over bullshit is a very destructive force in the lives of everyone who is involved, and then there's casualties of people who were indirectly involved or didn't even care to be involved. So yeah, I leave you with that. Drink water, eat roots, tell the world what you're worth, and life is too short to mind other people's business, so it's best that you mind your own. There's no money in your feelings. Peace.